This book is about a story of Robert Kiyosaki, who has two fathers. The poor dad was his biological father, and the rich dad was the father of his childhood best friend, Mike, who taught him the financial education to become rich. In part 1, I will cover two chapters. First, the rich don't work for money, and second, why teach financial literacy. In this chapter, Robert Kiyosaki explains how his rich dad taught him and Mike that the rich do not work for money. The rich dad advised to Robert and Mike that keep working boys, but the sooner you forget about needling a paycheck, the easier your adult life will be. Keep using your brain. Remember, a job is a short-term solution for a long-term problem. Remember, boys, that the fear and desire leads you into the life biggest trap if you are not aware of them controlling your thinking. Learn to use your emotion to think, not think with your emotion by agreeing to work for free. Do you know why he called it a trap? Because fear pushes you out of the door and desire call to you. That is the trap. Means you do not like the job, but you are still working. That means you are just pushing yourself because you are trapped. He also explained that how to get out of the trap by mastering the power of money. How to master the power of money? So people's lives are controlled around the two emotions, fear and greed. But the emotions are what makes us human. The word emotion stands for energy in motion. Be thankful about your emotion and use your mind and emotion in your favor, not against yourself. Rich Dad explains that most of the people becomes the slave of the money and then angry at their bosses. So he also give the example as well as the answer. Learn new skill so that no one can stop you to earn and learn more. He said, you are only poor if you give up. So keep hustling. In the second chapter, why teach financial literacy? Robert Kiyosaki explains one of the most important financial lessons is differentiating between your assets and liabilities. Because assets are what puts money in your pocket and liabilities are those which take out money from your pocket. Financial literacy is necessary to teach because rich people buy assets, poor people have only expenses, and middle class buy liability, thinking that they are their assets. And it is the most difficult problem for them because after thinking that they are buying assets, but ultimately they are buying their liabilities, which take out money from their pocket. So he explains through the cash flow statements. So in the screen, you will know all the cash flow statements. Starting from the income and expenses statement, as well as assets and liabilities. Salary comes from a job as shown in this figure and end up paying all expenses. That is the cash flow statement of poor people because they neither invest in assets nor in liabilities. They only have expenses. Cash flow statement of middle class people shows that income which comes as a salary is end up buying liabilities such as mortgage, car loan, credit debt, school loans and paying expenses such as tax, car installments, food, clothes, credit card monthly bills, etc. Cash flow statement of rich people. They always buy assets and those assets like stock, bonds, real estates, intellectual properties, etc. Assets will generate income in the income statement such as dividend from shares, interest from debentures, royalty from books, rental income from their property. Income generating assets are much larger than their liabilities and expenses. An interesting thing about rich people is that They build their assets to pay their all expenses and liabilities easily. In this way, they make money from their money. Most of the people have this question. So, why the rich get richer? Second, why the middle class struggle throughout their life? And the third, why the poor become poorer? So the first answer Robert Kiyosaki gives in his book. The rich did not focus on increasing their income. They focus on increasing their assets because the assets will ultimately generate income for them to pay off their expenses. Second answer. Why the middle class people struggle throughout their life? Because they buy liabilities and they think they are their assets. So in that scenario, they will end up by paying money from their pocket because expenses of those liabilities will become higher than what they earn. That is why that thing which they buy becomes their liabilities. Answer number 3. Why the poor become poorer? Because they do not have assets nor they have liabilities. That's why they have only expenses to pay. That is why they become poorer. Rich Dad explains that if you want to become rich, you need to be financially literate. And what is financially literate? That knowing that what is the difference between assets and liabilities. It is super simple. So he explains the KISS principle. Keep it super simple. So assets are what puts money in your pocket and liabilities are those which take out money from your pocket. So you will differentiate on this statement that what is your assets and what are your liabilities. How to become financially free? Financial freedom means assets are larger enough to grow by themselves. It is like planting a tree. You water it for years and then one day it doesn't need you anymore. Its roots are implanted deep enough, then the trees provide shades for the enjoyment throughout your life. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have learned something amazing. So type in the comment box below. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and part 2 is coming in 2 days.